This is Story Recapped. Today, I'm going to explain a comedy, horror, and sci-fi film called Zombie for Sale. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. One stormy night, a man crawls out of an underground pipe. Elsewhere, a car's tire blows out, forcing the driver to stop. To the surprise of the couple inside, a tow truck seemingly appears out of nowhere. The truck driver, Jun Gur, claims that he was passing through and saw the accident. With no choice, the couple allows him to help, unaware that the spike that blew out their tire was planted. The following morning, at the garage next to the gas station, Jun Gur's sister, Hae Gur, finds that one of the rabbits is sick. Outside, Jun Gur tends to the couple, having repaired their vehicle. The owner complains about the expensive costs, but Jun Gur blames his pregnant wife, Nam Ju, for the prices. This makes the owner question their credibility, but Hae Gur loudly slams the garage door open, halting the argument. Seeing her expression, Jun Gur complains that she killed one of the rabbits again. He then turns to the owner, insisting on removing the parts he installed on their vehicle so they won't have to pay. Wanting to get it over with, the owner hurriedly pays them and leaves. Meanwhile, the strange man from the pipe tries to attack two women, but he's so slow that they just move away without noticing his attempt. Kids start throwing rocks at him, so he chases them into the village but gets chased away by a dog. Elsewhere, the family's patriarch, Manduk, gambles in hopes of funding his Hawaiian dream. When one of their friends starts showing off a photo of his new younger fiancée, Manduk uses the distraction to cheat but gets caught. Before anyone can complain, he chases the dog barking outside. He then decides to use the public bathroom, only to find the strange man who bites him in the head. When the others reach the scene, the strange man is already running away while Manduk suffers a wound. Down the road, Hae Gur has finished burying the dead rabbit when the strange man comes running to her. Unfazed, she merely kicks him in the groin. When the dog returns to chase after the man, the two run away. Soon, Hae Gur reaches the main road where her older brother, Min Gur, has just arrived from the city. When he sees the strange man following her, Min Gur runs with his sister until Jun Gur runs over the man with his truck. Fortunately, the siblings discover the man running away again when he hears the dog coming. Back at their home, Jun Gur is worried that the strange man will sue him, but Min Gur assures him that it was self-defense since he was chasing after Hae Gur. Suddenly, an ambulance brings Manduk home. The medic explains that he got bit by a dog, but Manduk insists it was a man. That evening, Manduk talks to his late wife's ashes, promising to bring her to Hawaii with him, while Min Gur laments that he got fired via a text message. Later, Hae Gur hears a noise from the garage, so she and Manduk check and find the strange man inside. Manduk attacks him with a shovel while Hae Gur goes to her brothers for help. Jun Gur arrives at the scene and kicks the man off his father, but ends up getting him stabbed by a protruding metal piece from the wall. The family stares in horror, thinking he's dead, but the man suddenly moves and removes himself from the metal. Panicked, they hurriedly trap him in the garage. Seeing this, Min Gur shows his family the movie Train to Busan, insisting that the man is a zombie. Since he was bitten, the rest realize that Manduk might be infected, so Namju knocks him out with a pan, and they lock him in his trailer. The next day, Min Gur presents his notebook filled with the zombie research. He explains that the virus has an incubation period, which causes the body's temperature and blood pressure to rise, followed by convulsions. As they discuss, Manduk sleeps in his trailer, sweating and twitching. He then takes a deep breath, stops, then rises from his bed. Min Gur insists that they must kill their zombified father, but Jun Gur gets pissed at him for suggesting so. Unknown to them, Manduk has escaped the trailer and is already walking into the gas station. Everyone falls silent upon seeing him, until Min Gur slams a bottle over his head, proud to have killed a zombie. This angers his brother, so he chases him out of the property. Meanwhile, Hae Gur checks on the bound zombie in the garage. She feeds him cabbage and asks for his name. When he doesn't respond, she concludes that he can't talk, so Hae Gur names him Jongbi. Later, Manduk is in their washroom, alive and happy about something, while Namju approaches Jongbi with a set of pliers. That afternoon, Manduk's friends are amazed at his new vitality. They beg him to reveal his secret as he looks much younger than yesterday. Realizing the source of his newfound youth, Manduk goes to the zombie to thank him. Watching this, Min Gur is still convinced that their father has gone crazy because of the virus, so Jun Gur pulls him by the hair in annoyance. Manduk's soon-to-be-wed friend drops by, offering to buy him a ticket to Hawaii in exchange for his secret. Tempted, Manduk quietly tells him the secret, unaware that Min-ger overhears them and comes up with a different plan. Quickly, Manduk packs his luggage when the rest of his friends drop by, offering more money to be young again. Despite being pissed that his friend tattled, he takes them into the garage, only to find the zombie missing. Using Jun-ger's truck, Min-ger drives away, calling a friend to offer a new specimen for his research. However, he gets pulled over by the police due to speeding. Fortunately, Min-ger is friends with Officer Pak, who chats him up while his partner, Officer Che, checks around. As the two start walking away, they hear something from the truck's toolbox and find Jongbi inside. At the police station, Police Chief Oh interrogates Min-ger about Jongbi's weakened condition. When Che removes the tape over Jongbi's mouth, everyone gets surprised that the zombie's teeth had been removed. Oh accuses Min-ger of doing it, so Min-ger desperately tells him that the man is a zombie. Manduk and the rest suddenly arrive to bust them out, claiming that Jongbi is his youngest son. Confused, the officers allow them to take Jongbi away, but not before Che gets his fingerprints. Back at their home, Manduk announces that he's heading to Hawaii, so Min-ger insists on getting custody of Jongbi, making Namju suspicious. Inside the garage, Hae-ger gives Jongbi another cabbage, only to discover that his teeth are missing. Outside, the brothers argue over Min-ger's intentions until Manduk interrupts them, assuring his sons that he's not just profiting off Jongbi to go on vacation but also to restore their gas station in time for the birth of Jun-ger's son. Suddenly, Hae-ger storms out, demanding to know who pulled out Jongbi's teeth. With no one admitting to the deed, Manduk grows worried that he can't sell Jongbi's bites anymore. His friends soon arrive, so he calls out to a man carrying his dentures. Upon putting the dentures on the zombie, the soon-to-be groom volunteers to offer his arm to the zombie first. However, the zombie hesitates until Namju puts ketchup on his arm. Jongbi bites onto the arm too eagerly, causing a panic. Despite their fears, the others proceed to let the zombie bite them, earning the family a lot of money. The following day, all the men wake up with their youth back. However, Manduk has left and taken all his family's money with him. With his father gone, Min-ger takes Jongbi again, but Namju blocks him and takes her anger out on him. Hae-ger takes Jongbi to a cabbage farm and tries to teach him to talk. When he can't, she steals his cabbage, so he chases her until they fall to the ground together. The two gaze at each other's eyes until Jun-ger kicks a zombie off. Thinking that he was trying to bite Hae-ger, Jun-ger berates Jongbi, but Hae-ger spots a group heading to the gas station. Meanwhile, Min-ger tries to calm Namju down, excusing that he just wants to improve their family's condition, though Namju points out that it's what Manduk also said last night. She continues hitting him until they spot the others rushing back and warning them. The two notice the men racing to their gas station, so they all hide inside the house above the store. Jun-ger gets scared of paying for their father's scam, but to their surprise, the men actually want to buy the zombie bites. Men have their arms bitten by Jongbi, and soon, more patrons arrive at the gas station. Over the next few days, each family member takes on roles for their new growing business. To repay him, the family gives Jongbi the old trailer, while Hae-ger takes him into town for a makeover, making him look human enough that teenagers fawn over him. Soon, the family earns enough to refurbish their gas station. To commemorate the event, they take a family photo along with Jongbi. Jongbi also joins them at dinner, much to Min-ger's annoyance. Jun-ger defends that he's one of them now because fate brought him there. The adults notice Hae-ger blushing as she offers some food to Jongbi, so she blames the heat, which the adults laugh at. Later, Hae-ger overhears Min-ger talking on the phone, clearly intending to sell Jongbi to a researcher. The next day at the police station, Che discovers that Jongbi's fingerprints aren't registered in the database. Oh and Pak ignore this since it's common for families not to register a kid who's born strange. Soon, Jun-ger heads to the wedding of Manduk's friend. Finding that the town is lively, he hands out flyers for their gas station's reopening. But after he leaves, one of their former patrons complains about the heat. The guests are also confused as other men fight over the air conditioning. In the woods, Hae-ger talks to Jongbi about her mother, who died during childbirth. She feels like she owes her brothers and father since her mother would have been alive if she wasn't born. Still, Hae-ger instructs Jongbi to hide from people as she prepares to leave him to keep him away from her brother. After much hesitation, Hae-ger walks away and throws rocks at him to make him stop following her. Eventually, Min-ger runs around town, searching for Jongbi, and finds him in the woods as he hasn't moved since Hae-ger left. Excitedly, he takes Jongbi to the bus station to take him to Seoul. He leaves the zombie to buy drinks, unaware that the store owner is burning his hand on the stove. Back at the wedding, the groom kisses his bride too aggressively while men at a canteen eat ravenously. Soon, the police receive calls about chaos happening throughout the town, and Min-ger witnesses men attacking people as a zombie virus finally takes effect. The zombies terrorize the wedding, spreading the virus further. At the garage, Hager finds a zombie rushing toward her, so she goes to Jun-gur and Nam-ju. The pregnant woman hits the zombie with her lunchbox, but Che sees this and accuses them of attempted murder. However, the zombie soon stands up again and bites the officer. More zombies arrive, so they retreat inside. While barricading the windows, Jun-gur recognizes a zombie as an old classmate, so he tries to talk to him, still refusing to believe that they've turned into zombies. The man attacks him, so Nam-ju hits the zombie with a frying pan, saving her husband. They then retreat to the house upstairs, barricading the stairway. Hager finds Min-gur's survival guide, so they follow its instructions and gear themselves with thick clothes and makeshift armor. At the bus station, Min-gur, who has acquired riot gear, hides under a bus and reports a zombie outbreak to the emergency services, but the operator thinks it's a prank and hangs up. Suddenly, his phone starts ringing, alerting the zombies to his location. Thinking quickly, he throws the phone away to divert them and escape. He rushes back into town and hijacks a truck, inadvertently removing the tarp where Pak is hiding, exposing him to the zombies. By nightfall, Nam-ju feels pain but insists that she's not due for a few more days. Jun-gur blames the entire thing on Jongbi, but Hager points out that they're the ones who sold the zombie bites. Suddenly, zombies start climbing over their barricades, so Jun-gur hurriedly gets his sister to climb onto the garage roof. However, Nam-ju rushes back to retrieve their cash box, fighting her way off the zombies who try to grab her. The trio escapes to the roof and opens a hatch to get inside the garage. But before Jun-gur gets in, Min-gur arrives. Min-gur launches fireworks at the zombies, but Jun-gur yells at him to stop since he might cause the gas tanks to explode. In his panic, Min-gur drops sparks into his box of fireworks, so he escapes while the zombies get attracted to the lights. Soon, the fireworks on the trunk ignite, filling the sky with lights that attract more zombies from the town. Jun-gur berates his brother for his terrible plan, but Nam-ju suddenly goes into labor. Panicked, Jun-gur blames her retrieval of the cash box for stressing her into labor. However, Nam-ju insists that the money is for their baby. Coming up with an idea, Min-gur puts Jongbi's old clothes on his brother, explaining that Jongbi's scent might make the zombies think he's one of them. However, Jun-gur admits he's a coward, insisting that Min-gur should do it. In the end, they agree to go together. Quietly, the two exit, but when the zombies notice them, they turn back to the garage in fear, only to see Hager blocking the door. With no choice, they proceed to the tow truck but struggle to find the keys. While searching, Jun-gur opens the light, alerting the zombies who attack the truck. Suddenly, Hager steps out, armed with a weed whacker. She slices a zombie's arm but gets outnumbered, only to be protected by Jongbi. At the same time, the zombified Che gets stuck in the electrical wiring, causing sparks as the two stare into each other's eyes. With the power overloading, multiple lights explode and blink while the radio turns on, filling the gas station with lights and music. As if at a rave party, the zombies go crazy with Zombie Che as their DJ. Jun-gur finally remembers that he left his keys at the house, so he sneaks back while the zombies are distracted. However, the power finally goes out, so the zombies turn back to him. Just as they're about to attack, they hear his baby being born. Hearing the child, the zombies attack the garage, so Jun-gur tries to pull them off to save his baby. Failing to do so, he rushes into the house and kicks down the zombies inside. More zombies block his path, so Jun-gur braves through them until he reaches the keys. Meanwhile, Nam-ju holds on to her child as a zombie climbs into the trailer from above. Fortunately, Hager pulls the zombie away and prepares to fight with Jongbi to protect Nam-ju and the baby. Jun-gur throws the key from the window, letting Min-gur catch it. Trapped, Jun-gur pleads for his brother to watch over his family, lamenting that he won't be able to see his baby. Min-gur watches as his brother gets taken away by the zombies, filling him with dread. He then turns that dread into rage, driving the truck to knock down the zombies around and pull the trailer out of the garage. Hager gets inside, but Jongbi stays to fight the zombies despite her pleas. With the trailer stuck and the zombies getting in the truck, Min-gur puts the truck in reverse, knocking down a gas tank that rains gasoline over the monsters. To his surprise, Jun-gur returns, having been saved by his thick coat. With no time to celebrate, Min-gur speeds off, pulling the trailer with them and leaving Jongbi behind while Hager cries. Alone with the other zombies, Jongbi finally utters Hager's name. This alerts the other zombies, causing them to attack him. Accepting his fate, Jongbi lights a lighter, setting the gas station on fire, along with himself and the other zombies. By morning, the family has driven out of town, finally getting a radio signal from the city where they hear reports of a new diabetes medicine causing side effects, including cloudy pupils and aggression. Seeing his brother exhibit the symptoms, Min-gur and the rest get out of the truck. Nam-ju mourns for her husband, but Min-gur hears a noise in the nearby tunnel. They prepare for battle, only to find Manduk returning from his vacation, utterly unaware of the situation. As they remember that he was also bitten, the others back away from their father. However, they hear news about the zombie epidemic spreading, so the Disease Control HQ calls for anyone immune to the virus. This gives Min-ger a new plan. 6 months later, Min-ger drives a truck, offering antidotes for the zombies. As the zombies line up, a recovered Jun-ger calls out "Hey Ger." She steps out with a weed whacker to keep the zombies in check, followed by Jongbi, who survived the explosion and has also been cured. They stick a zombie's arm into the trailer for Manduk to bite, much to his disgust. His bite successfully turns the zombies back to humans, and the family business continues.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.